was created as antidote to lack of freedom of expression in Eritrea. When the free press, which was just starting to appear, was banned and closed, we thought that we should have an alternative for people to express themselves on a platform that would host different opinions in aspiration of achieving our goal of a just and developed society. 9/11 was a colossal tragedy, not only due to what happened in New York, but the repercussions of that event had far-reaching damaging consequences, particularly for Eritrea, because as the world was busy with 9/11 and all the media was preoccupied with that story, the government of Eritrea silently, without so many people noticing, just closed the free press, arrested reporters and editors and senior government officials, and it was just human rights. The notion of human rights itself in the Eritrean context is a new thing, in line with what the world came to understand as a coded human rights. However, over the last 20 years since this government came, there have been people airing grievances, activists fighting to remedy the situation and improve the human rights situation in Eritrea. But over the last 15 years, I would say that it has reached a very extensive form of struggle, and that has enlightened enough people. Eritreans are more aware of their rights at this moment than they were 15 years ago, and the political class itself, because our legacy is socialism and communism, struggle, military culture and all that, so where in such situations human rights is not a major consideration. So over the last 15 years the awareness has improved a lot. There is a lot to be done because we lack professionalism on the way we handle our issues. Our networks are very weak. And like any nascent movement, the human rights movement has been ravaged by power struggle, ego, and all of that, but it will evolve into a proper, structured activism, I think, in the near future. Of course it can, because the Eritrean Defence Forces are part and parcel of the population. Almost no Eritrean is not affected by what's going on in Eritrea, and they are the only people with muscles and arms, and they can challenge the system. However, there is a lack of trust in the overall Eritrean polity. We have got quite a few unsettled issues, and people are just afraid of tomorrow. What is going to happen? What if a vacuum is created due to the removal of this system? And how are we going to go about the challenge that we face after the removal of this regime? So there are a lot of unanswered questions, a lot of uncomfortable situations that might come, and people are very suspicious and afraid, because this would be our first experience fighting a local government, because we have experience fighting invaders and fighting occupation, but this time it's a bit different, because those we hailed as liberators have turned to be ruthless, even at times worse than the occupation that we fought over the last 30-40 years until 1991. So the people are kind of confused, weary, suspicious, lack of self-confidence and stuff like that. However, there is no nation that can succeed in alienation of the defense forces. The defense forces are part and parcel of any change that can come to Eritrea. Probably they have got a better chance of initiating a change, or giving the people confidence that we are in muscle and we are behind you. And if they start to support the choice of the people, if they become advocates of the rights of the people, the respect and dignity of the people, then that would make it better. Probably I'm not the right person to ask about sports because I'm not a fan of any sport. But what I can tell you in short is sport is a social activity that flourishes in a situation of freedom. If there is no freedom, everything just dies out or is weakened. I mean, Eritreans are known for their sports skills. For example, lately we had bicycling success, and that has story behind it because it's well entrenched in the Eritrean sport tradition. But we had like footballers and runners and all sorts of skilled people, whatever we got, and they just melt away in the diaspora and they don't excel. It's related to your first question because most of the people who are living in Eritrea today are school age or people who just should have graduated from college and contributed to the economy and well-being of the country, but they are living. So in this case, we can't say there is an education that targets improving the economy or creating a class of governors and administrators and entrepreneurs. We don't have that because the morale of the people is just way down. They don't see any future. You can't do education in a boot camp. You can't do education whereby you don't own your freedom to excel in what you want. So I can say there is education, but there is no an education policy. It's all by proclamation and whims. Thus, unfortunately, the government of the day sets the tone of the people. And since the government owns all the information, the people get their information from the government. So if they get misleading information, they will just support warmongering and they will be violent and aggressors. I think the legacy of the struggle era, any organization of those who struggled for freedom and independence of Eritrea, their history is part of and parcel of the Eritrean history, and it belongs to all of us. I think that history has come to an end in 1991, and since 1991 we have embarked on a different phase. It's a different kind of struggle that we are engaged in now, but that has reflected greatly in our present because we depend on it for inspiration. We use it as a reference for our resilience and steadfastness. It's always in us, and I think for the foreseeable future it will just be a major influence on what we have, on what we do. The most important thing is that we shouldn't be bogged down in history and just look back. We have to take the good parts of it, and the bad should just be an experience, and we as a whole, as a nation, are responsible for whatever happens. So we build on the good achievements of that struggle, the camaraderie and steadfastness, dedication, honesty and sacrifice that should be built on, but there are bad things that we shouldn't keep. It helps opposition make its case because Eritrea is first of all ruled by the whims of one person and his narrow clique. It's ruled by proclamations, and whatever Isaiah says is the rule of the land. And that reflects badly on the regime, that it's brigandage, and it's an outlaw regime, it's not elected, it's not popular. And it's not supported by any legal mandate. It's just staying there with the power of the gun. And that reflects badly on the regime, but the worst part and the saddest part is that it reflects badly on Eritrea as a nation. How is that Eritrea, which struggled a very tough struggle, how did it end up in such a mess? It's first of all, an awareness is needed that whatever we do, we don't do for ourselves, because most of the Eritrean opposition is an immigrant opposition, and most of us activists are residing all over the world, not in Eritrea, and that is a very it's a disadvantage for any opposition when it's operating from exile and not from its natural habitat. We have to overcome that situation by building bridges with inside Eritrea, with our people inside Eritrea. Only then we can make a change.